Peace Reflections. You are over here with Tarithia. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, depending on which platform you are on. Because we are here talking about the greatest ones to ever do it. We are here talking about Queen Nefertiti reflection. So go on ahead and roll up, pull up, whatever it is you do. Because you know how you do when you get over here with my crew. You are with my stars. Okay. So with that being said, reflection, we're here to talk about Queen Nefertiti a little bit. We're here talking about Queen Nefertiti. Now, what I'm about to tell you, reflection, you can find it throughout history, but you're not going to find it how I'm putting it. You're going to have to put it together. You're going to have to put the pieces of the puzzle together to know what it is that I'm talking about, okay? Because this is coming from the ethers, reflection. This is coming from my memory. This is coming from my memories. Okay. So with that being said, let's talk about who Queen Nefertiti was, first of all. Now we know this is Akhenat's wife. For everyone who don't know who Akhenaten is, baby, Akhenaten was the one who said, listen, close all them temples down. I don't care who you was praising. I don't care nothing about you was praising the rainmaker. I don't care nothing about you was praising the vegetation maker. I don't care nothing about you was praising the one that prevent nightmares. I don't care if you was praised in the corn goddess. I don't care nothing about none of that, baby. If it's not the odd, then what reflection is not proper. That's what Uncle Nine said. He said that if they wasn't worshiping the Ad, which is the rays from the sun, and I talked about that in another video, but if you need me to, I'll do a part two, okay? But Uncle Not was her husband. In order for you to understand who Queen Nefertiti is, you got to understand who her husband was. It was Uncle Not. He was the one that shut everything down and told him, listen, you will only worship one God, and it is the true God, what he said, which was the odds and reflection, the odds. And he said, listen, if it ain't the odd, then what is not proper. Okay, so that was Queen Nefertiti's husband. So for you to understand, when I say she is the mastermind, she was that hand behind her back and in his pockets, reflection, you have to understand her husband was power. Her husband was power. But behind every great man is a greater woman. That's why they can be in the background, reflection. That's why they can stand in the background, okay? So Queen Nefertiti was no different. Now, a lot of people don't know where Queen Nefertiti actually came from, okay? Some people say that she was of royal bloodlines, but if you read throughout history, they don't really know much about her bloodline. They think they know who her father is. They think that her father was a great advisor to Uncle Nine's father, okay? So that's how it all came together, her even meeting Uncle Nine. Because keep in mind, Uncle Nine is from royal bloodline. He is from his bloodline is very divine. Not saying Queen Nefertiti's wasn't, but you get what I'm saying. His father was a ruler. His father's father was a ruler. Now let's go to a side note. Keep in mind, they say people that are alike, they link together, right? Let me tell you a little backstory about her husband. Let me tell you about Uncle Nine. Now, keep in mind, Uncle Nine was of royal blood, but keep in mind, Uncle Nine wasn't supposed to be the next up pharaoh, right? Okay, that's good. I had to read that text. That's good. Get on your job. So, with that being said, reflection, Uncle Nine was never supposed to be the pharaoh next up. His brother was. But let me tell you about power, man. Let me tell you about power. Let me tell you, I had to stand up for this. Uncle Not wasn't studying it. Uncle Not was in the background, and this is just what I heard. This is what I heard around the palace that come close. This is between me and you. This is between me and you. They said that Uncle Not actually cut the cord with his brother so he could become Pharaoh. Now that was never here nor there. It has not been proven. But reflection, let me sit back down. But reflection, that's what they said. They said that Uncle Nine actually took out his brother. All this is important because you got to know. They stayed together, reflection, and you have to think, people don't attract people that they not alike, okay? You will never see a totally good person with a totally corrupt person. That person has to have a little corruption. Just a piece of corruption too, okay? So with that being said, Uncle Nine actually, it was alleged, they don't know this, but it was alleged that he got his brother up out of there, reflection, so he could become Pharaoh, baby. He said, listen, I got a master plan for this country. I think your backbone is a little weak, baby. I think it's weak. And Uncle Nine took advantage of that. Uncle Nine said, listen, I see a weak spot. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to get you, baby. I'm going to get you, baby. And his wife was no different. She was worse. You heard me? She was worse. So when it comes to doing what you got to do to get in power, Uncle Nine, this family right here, reflection, they understood that well. They understood that. Okay, so I want you to know kind of what this family was like before we even get into the children, before we even get into the daughters, and before we even get into King Tut. We can't. And King Tut, you gonna want to join me back for that one. We may have to even go on Rumble for that one because they gonna swear that's misinformation. They gonna swear reflection. They gonna say, where did you get this from? Well, hold on. Where she must got that book. Do she got the book? Where is the book? Go make sure that book's still there. Go make sure. I'm doing so much. I do too much sometimes. Hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the follow button depending on which platform you on. I'm just an intrusion. Reflection. So with that, I'm just giving a little history TikTok. It's not for real. It's not for real. It's not for real. Okay. Back to the story. So, anyways, after that reflection, we gotta do side notes. You can't get too serious on this planet. You get too serious, fuck around, come up here, type in Terethia. You just be like, what's Terethia? What is that? Must not settle back to Mars. See, reflection, I'm gonna penetrate again. But anyway, with that being said, back to the story. So, Queen Nefertiti, they ended up getting together, her and Akhenaten. Okay, keep in mind, it was alleged that her father was a advisor to the king, to Akhenaten's father. Okay, so that's how they ended up getting back together. But didn't nobody really know shit about. They ain't know nothing about Nefertiti like that. They didn't know she had that will, baby. They didn't know how strong her will was, baby. When Akhenaten laid eyes on her, though, it was like honey and he was a bee, baby. It was like she was honey and he was a bee, baby. He couldn't get off of her. He couldn't get off of her, baby. He said, I'm finna make you the one. I don't care if you of divine blood or not, baby. You about to be now. You are about to be now because you are the one. He loved how she looked. Reflection. Keep in mind, Queen Nefertiti wasn't a woman, though, that just was about beauty. When he figured out that she had a brain and that'll go with it, reflection. Uncle Not said, I'm in love. I'm in love with the one. He said he in love with her, baby. He was in love with her, the baby. Liz. He said, you beautiful. You beautiful, and you got a plan like me. We got the same agenda. I ain't got to even morph you to the plan or nothing. You already with the plan. Where did you come from? What star did you fall down from, baby? Did they make you just for me? I feel like they made you just for me. So that's how he felt. That's how King Uncle Nine felt. He felt like, Lise, before I let you go, you listen, you gonna be like my brother. Before I let you go, Queen Nefertiti, I'm gonna have to do you like my brother, okay? Allegedly, he didn't play that shit. Uncle Nine said he don't take no losses. One thing about Uncle Nine, baby, her husband, he don't take losses. If he sends somebody over there to your kingdom to get a bird, an exotic bird, and maybe you get what I'm saying, a couple grains, maybe send me back 2 goats, baby. One half white, the other one half black. I don't know where you gonna find it, but I heard y'all got them over there in your land. I need 2 of them, baby, before the 22nd, because that's when we abracadabra. You get what I'm saying? Him and his wife. Did I not mention? Side note, she was a master necromancy. Yes, for anybody who don't know what a necromancy is, they can talk to the dead. Reflection, they can raise the dead. She was going to get information from as below reflection. Queen Nefertiti, listen. So how you think? I'm just saying though. Keep in mind, for the people who are not a believer, how you think Uncle Nine was able to get all them people to worship one God? Yeah, they was afraid of, you get what I'm saying? They was afraid of getting on up out of there, but it was more than that. Reflection. You always got one that ain't afraid of. You always got one little rebellious one with an opinion out the group that want to go against the agenda. Always one of them. It's always one, but Uncle Nine wasn't really worried about that because he had his super weapon, baby. He had the one and not the 2, baby. He had the one and not 2. We finna come back for a part 2 reflection. It's finna be a long little video. We finna do this whole series today because it's been on my mental. And they won't leave me alone. I'm like, listen, why you just can't let history stay like it is? They say, because it's wrong. Okay, so with that being said, reflection, remember all of these are just, hypothetical, educational, listen, we over here talking about the greatest one to ever do it. Make sure you join me back for part 2 so I can tell you. Now we know about her husband. We know how we know how King Uncle Nine get. So we know how her husband is. We know the mind of her husband, okay? Now in part 2, I'm finna tell you a little bit more about Queen Nefertiti and her agenda with Uncle Nine, okay? Was it love or was it more? Until next time, I say. Okay, reflection. We back for part two. Now, in part one, we was talking about how Queen Nefertiti and Uncle Nine actually met each other. Reflection. Okay, we know two masterminds had came together with the same agenda. All right. Now let's jump forward. Let's jump forward. We know that they had three daughters, right? We know they had three daughters, and they also had two sets of twins and an extra daughter, which made six, right? But we know the two daughters, the two youngest ones, reflection, they actually disappeared. They disappeared. Now, a lot of people, there's a video for another day. Keep in mind, this is the greatest one to ever do it. This is the mastermind of all masterminds. She know how to put her feelings to the side to meet her agenda. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? So I'm gonna let you take with that information and do what you want to with it, okay? But the answers are all there. Now, keep in mind, Queen Nefertiti, not only was she beauty, she was a mastermind. Reflection. She was a mastermind and she dealt with necromancy. She was a diviner. Whenever Uncle Nine needed insight into about wars, about battles, about just insight into other countries, reflection. Keep in mind, Queen Nefertiti had ears everywhere. Uncle Nine had eyes everywhere, but Queen Nefertiti had ears everywhere. So just how now they'll send people in certain countries or whatever, reflection, to gather information. Oh, Queen Nefertiti had in every city, you better believe Queen Nefertiti had someone there that delivered to her messages and let her know what was going on, baby. Queen Nefertiti, you know her, they over here with this bullshit. They over here talking about, listen, they think you could be underground doing a little pizza. Y'all get what I'm saying? Yeah, you could be fucking with the agenda. Queen Nefertiti, this is what they saying. They may be on to us, baby. They might be, I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. You might want to do a little abracadabra. You might want to send in a famine or something around here and then go back and act like you are the one that saved them from the phantom, even though you were the one that created the phantom, the reflection. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. I can't make it up. This is what they was doing. This is what they was doing back when. You know, they said history repeats itself, right? History repeats itself. So it's no different with the pharaohs. Where you think they getting all this shit from? Allegedly. I'm just thinking. I ain't rolled up yet, but I'm thinking I may need to. I get to thinking too much. Reflection. I get to thinking too much. Okay, so I get to remembering shit. So with that being said, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the follow button, baby. We over here talking about the greatest ones to ever do it. We talking about Queen Nefertiti and Uncle Nine. So Queen Nefertiti, she would get messages and different things like that. Keep in mind, Uncle Nine was the power. Uncle Nine was the power, but she was the brains, baby. Don't get me wrong now. Uncle Nine was a very smart individual. You got to be smart, reflection, to morph a whole country into something else you want it to be, baby. Keep in mind, it's just, remember I told you history repeats itself, right? So they were praising different gods, and the priests were the ones who the people would go to, and you get what I'm saying, tell them certain things, then they'll go and they'll give their offering. So the priests really had a lot of control. Uncle Nine synced it. Uncle Nine felt like, hold on, wait a minute, slow down, low down. I'm a very selfish God. I don't want nobody else to have more power than me. Because this is how they pictured themselves. You got to think, let me take you back when. Because some people got that misconstrued. This is how they looked at themselves. Royalty, reflection. Back when Queen Nefertiti, she embodied herself as a walking, living, talking goddess. This is their mindset. And not only did they put that in their mindset, they put that in their children's mindset as well. Okay? Think about that. So when you are going to praise these certain gods and these certain goddesses, that's how they get their power off praise, right? Now, Uncle Nine, he had embodied himself as the god Aten. Listen, I know I told you. Did I put my disclaimer up here? Let me do it. The stuff that I'm about to tell you, reflection, you can find it throughout history, but you're not going to find out how Tariq putting it. You're going to have to go and you're going to have to put the context clues together, baby. You know, that in order to tell a lie, you got to put a little truth in there. You got to sprinkle just a little piece. Just a little piece. Don't put a whole lot, though. Don't you put a whole lot of truth in there, because they going to know. You ain't going to know what I'm saying. The lie may overshadow. The truth may overshadow the lie. That ain't what we want. That ain't what we want. We trying to do mind control around here, baby. We trying to get them to see how we see. We trying to get them to follow in the path how we want them to follow, because we running this shit. This is our shit. Yes. Okay, so that's how they feel. I'm just trying to take you into the mind of a mastermind. I'm trying to get you to see what they were seeing, reflection. Okay. So with that being said, they were using I guess, a form of mind control. So let's go back to the priests and how the priests had a lot of control with the people. They had a lot of direct contact with the people. Now, if the priest, this is how Uncle Nine was thinking. If the priest is able to get infiltrated, or if the priest start thinking a certain type of way, start trying to think for themselves and shit, start trying to, you get what I'm saying, create their own agendas within the people, it wouldn't be hard for them to do, because they're working so close with the people. Keep in mind, when Uncle Nine said that he didn't want them to praise any other god besides the Aten, the sun rays from the sun reflection, then the priest was like, hold on, what are you talking about? We've been praising all these other gods and goddesses since the beginning of time. Who gave you this great idea to want to shut all the temples down? Now, they didn't say that, but keep in mind, Queen Nefertiti had ears throughout the kingdom. Uncle Nine had eyes, but Queen Nefertiti said, I ain't studying that. I want to know what they saying. I want to know what they talking about. What you talking about my husband, babe? You think you finna go against my husband? So you think you finna go against the Pharaoh? You think you finna go against the one? Okay, then wait till tonight when I get this crystal and this abracadabra and this good book of shadows down there underground, when I go under the castle and shit. When I go under the castle and shit, I'm gonna get your ass. I'm gonna get your ass because I know. Because they already told me. They already telepathically sent what you had said about my husband. So y'all think y'all finna get together and create a little group to take us down, baby? To take us down? Well, I want you to try it. I bet tomorrow you won't even know your name. Tomorrow you gonna say, they gonna ask you what your name is. You gonna say Plain Jane. Plain Jane. That's I'm trying to tell you, she was the controller of controllers. Okay, I'm letting you know she was the greatest mastermind to ever do it, okay? Before Uncle Nine even think he got a problem, Queen Nefertiti now already took care. She now already went under the castle with her book of shadows and her abracadabra by that red ass lake. Okay. I'm doing so much. Okay. We gonna come back on part 3. We're gonna come back on part 3 and we're gonna talk more about that. But she could raise the dead reflection, okay? And not only that, she got a lot of her information allegedly from the dead, okay? That's how they were able to control a lot of things, all right? That do you believe in magic did not, it was heavy throughout the kingdom. It was heavy throughout the palace. And keep in mind, we're going to talk more about her children in part 3. But her children also embodied and looked at themselves. They were programmed to act a certain type of way, think a certain type of way, behave a certain type of way, okay? That's where keep in mind these mystery schools and the initiations that the royal families had to go through reflection, their children had to go through it too, okay? King Tut had to go through it. Her third daughter had to go through it. They all have to go through it because Queen Nefertiti and Uncle Nine's third daughter was a diviner. She was a diviner just like Queen Nefertiti's ass. It was like almost having another her all over again reflection. But you know they say with every generation it gets greater and it gets better. And if you can't control something, with Queen Nefertiti, she had the mind, if I can't control a situation, then I'm going to eliminate the situation, if you get what I'm saying, okay? So they understood this well, all right? They seen Queen Nefertiti advance throughout time, okay? They seen a couple of their sisters ended up, you get what I'm saying, missing throughout history and shit. They knew, okay? So with that being said, Queen Nefertiti was nothing to play with. She was nothing to play with. She was beautiful, but don't let her beauty fool you. She was a real she could be a real ruthless leader reflection, okay? Keep in mind, Uncle Nine, her husband, who ruled the whole country reflection, she had just as much power as him. She had more power as a wife than any other pharaoh's wife. They didn't have the type of power Queen Nefertiti had. Queen Nefertiti could hit the button on you, and then next thing you know, Uncle Nine was like, shit, I ain't even heard from such and such. Queen Nefertiti was like, oh, y'all, they wasn't good for you. No way. They was trying to go against the agenda. We got them on up out of here, baby. Like yesterday. Don't even worry about it. See, most queens couldn't do that. Most queens couldn't hit that button reflection without letting their husband know. We talking about the greatest one to ever do it. We talking about Queen Nefertiti. Join me back for part 2. I said for part 2, for part 3. So we can talk more about her children and the agenda. All right. So with that being said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Join me back for part 3.